Namaste. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. This is Magick La Croix, and I'm sorry I've been away for so long. Been a little busy, but I'm back again to do another video. Today I want to touch on the subject of, let's do spiritual mental illness part 2. I always said that I was going to follow up on that particular video, and I got an overwhelming response from the material I covered there. So just seeing some of the fuckery on Facebook made me want to do another one, and just seeing things that I see on a daily basis and how our people act, melanated brothers and sisters, made me want to touch on this subject again. Before I start to begin, what I want to say is visit my shop, www.themagicalelitesupplyshop.com. Not only do I have occult products, but I also offer services as well. Tarot readings, consultations, and spiritual workings. I'll put it that way. Alright. Let us begin on this day of Saturn, the black planet. A good day to get rid of negative influences in your life, or negative situations, or negative people. Today is a good day because we're still in Mercury retrograde, and that doesn't end until, I think, Monday or Tuesday. But beware, because we have 3 more retrogrades to go this year. Thanks, Mercury. Appreciate that. So, the first thing I want to say is I have had a bunch of Caucasians unfriend me on Facebook recently. Now, that in itself doesn't bother me, but one person even came to me and said that I preach hate. What kind of bullshit is that? That I preach hate? If a bully is beating up his victim for many days, many months, finally someone comes along and teaches the victim kung fu. He comes back, he beats the bully's ass so bad that not only does the bully give him respect from that point on, he never even crosses his path anymore, deliberately. So how exactly does me teaching or just addressing the problems within our community and how we can combat that, how is that preaching hate? You know, this is an old age psychological trick that Caucasians like to play with people. When you have a love for yourself and know who you are and what your history, your true history is, then they say you're practicing hate. What kind of dumbass shit is that? Because I don't want to follow your philosophies and your religions anymore. And I'm not speaking about all Caucasian people. I'm just saying, this was addressed to me recently, and I was like, you have the audacity to say that I'm preaching hate? To try and reach people and tell them about their history and their spiritual sciences so they can get up under the yoke of the slave master's children's mentality and false spirituality. How's that preaching hate? Now, if they start to hate you, that's a natural reaction from being in a society that tells everybody, the whole world, that black people ain't shit and that white people are the shit. That all of that is bullshit. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there to any Caucasians that may be watching this particular video. I'm sorry if you're offended. This ain't for you though. Just being honest. I'm talking to my melanated people here. And what today we're going to address again is spiritual mental illness. Now, before I had said that we have a serious mental illness that stems back from slavery days and beyond, and it continues into this day. One of the things that is a mental illness, and you may disagree with this, but the emasculation of the black man. Why is it that they try so hard to emasculate us, make us look feminine, and make us dress in feminine ways that are meant for females, wearing dresses, skinny jeans, skirts? I mean, look at Russell Westbrook. Did you see the nonsense that he's wearing? And they praise that. They think that it's okay to dress like a woman for a black man, right? But hated the way Allen Iverson used to dress, because he dressed hip-hoppish. But it's okay that Russell Westbrook wears the kind of clothes that he wears. I even saw, my favorite player used to be Dwayne Wade, and I even saw him wearing some old faggoty shit that I was like, are you kidding me? There's a reason for all of that. You got one of the most built men that I've ever seen. Two people. Terry Crews, subtle gay commercial. That I think it's Old Spice commercial. And I just seen The Rock with a dress on and a wig. I'm like, really? They're going out of their way to feminize black men. Jaden Smith. Wow. Really? You wearing dresses and calling this a fashion statement? How sick is that you wearing a bow in your head? Now, Jada Smith, the mother, she wants to call for a boycott from the Oscars. How you boycotting something you ain't never been fucking invited to? How? But it's okay for your son to be sitting around dressing like a bitch? Like, come on now, really? And then your 12-year-old daughter in the bed with an adult male? But that's okay. But the Oscars has never been about including melanated people. Ever. The only time they will give an Oscar to a melanated person is you gotta play a slave, you gotta play a maid. Whoopi Goldberg played a phony psychic. Halle Berry played Monsters Ball. I refuse to see that movie because you got one of the dustiest Caucasian men banging this fine black woman. And I hear that it's after he killed her husband. Yet and still, we calling for a boycott of the Oscars. Why do we still feel the need for acceptance into white society in their culture? By the way, the Oscar, that's not an Oscar. That's Petit, P-T-A-H, the architect of the universe, an Egyptian god. Go research it. But yet and still, we still begging for them to recognize us. This is an illness with us. We still are begging for them to accept us. Stop it. It's never going to happen. They've shown you for over 400 years exactly what they think about you. Exactly what they think about your spiritual sciences. There are no more alpha males that these young men can look up to. No more. There are no more alpha males in what the watered down version of hip hop today? Name me one. You can't. There's no more alpha males. Alpha males, melanated alpha males are a threat to Caucasian society. It's a fact. That's why they try so hard to feminize black men. And they've done a damn good job. Why do we, as melanated men, sign up for this? Why do we do this to ourselves? We want to be accepted by people who never gave a fuck about us. Ever. I seen recently, I think it was 5 Caucasian females in a high school in Arizona that they had the words, each one had a letter on their shirt and it spelled out nigger. Now, you gotta understand something. Even though I've said in the past that the racism, the bigotry, and the hatred is passed down from generation to generation in the DNA, yes. But these children, when they're born, you're not born naturally racist. You have to learn that. You have to learn this from somewhere. They are still teaching their children, they're teaching their seeds to keep this society going. That Caucasians are the epitome of loving relationships and everything good, and that black people are just at the bottom of the barrel, inferior, have no mental intelligence, are lazy, which is an oxymoron. If we're so lazy, who went to go get who to do whose motherfucking work? Dora pause. But we got the stereotype of being lazy. It's an oxymoron. You get it? It doesn't even, if you look at the history of the United States, it doesn't even make sense to say that black people are lazy. Stop it. I was skimming channels the other day, and I actually saw this show called The Prancing Elites. Really? I turned to it for just about 2 minutes just to see what this was all about. I literally got sick to my stomach. To see all these brothers acting like women and with makeup and implants and contacts and just feminized. You know what I'm saying? If that's not a mental illness, I don't know what is. And they're making it seem like it's so normal. It's not normal. You go and research and look at the brothers and the sisters of the 60s. I always reference the 60s because that's when it was cool to be masculine. It's just such a fucked up situation that it's just uncomfortable just even talking about it, but it has to be said. They have taken everything that is natural to us and made it their own. Anytime someone can forcibly come into your house, take you out of your house, and act like it's theirs by right, if that's not the epitome of sociopathic behavior. This is the reason why I limit my time on Facebook, because that's all you're going to see is cop videos. And I saw a video of this South Africa, this so-called white man arguing that this black guy was just sitting there and he's just arguing at him and just hit him and just fussing at him. They don't want you in your own land. You get it? That's not sociopathic behavior. If you look at, and I saw this recently, if you look at Lethal Weapon 2, the people he was going up against, and when the Riggs and Murtaugh busted in their house for the first time, and he was like, this is South African soil, this is the consulate, he act like he owned it, like he was born there and it's his by right. No, you went in there and you took it. Everything that they have gotten, they've taken by force. None of this is rightfully theirs. Copycats, they are. I remember Malcolm X, with Spike Lee's movie Malcolm X came out. I remember how it was like 1992, and that's where it was a lot of, I would call it an Afrocentric movement going on. People were wearing the African medallions and just, you know, the hip hop was conscious because you had Brand Nubian, you had X-Clan, you had Public Enemy, and I remember how people were wearing African jewelry, and specifically they had the hats that had a Malcolm X symbol on it, an X. Do you know that about a month after all that happened, after the movie was released, I started to see young teen Caucasians wearing O's for hats? This ain't tic-tac-toe. This was about a symbol. A man who gave his life for the truth. This had nothing to do with, you see what I'm saying? They try to counteract every single thing that we do. Everything. What does this have to do with magic and occultism? Everything. It has everything. It goes along with the propaganda. It all ties in together. If you look at, and I do apologize for I'm sighing because these subjects and what we have to go through on a daily basis as a people on a whole level, it bothers the hell out of me that we are so not awake to not be able to see these things. A movie came out called The Immortals not that long ago. Maybe 5 years ago. Now, they showed the gods, the Greek gods, with, you know, their skirts on, the men and everything, feminized and everything. If you ever seen this movie, then you'll know who the Titans were and why they had to keep them caged down. Every movie is a code. There are codes in many, many movies. Once you start seeing these codes, you cannot unsee them. The Titans were shown as totally dark, grunting, and dusty. And they had like caves in the bottom of the earth or something like that. And they had to defeat the Titans so that they couldn't come out and destroy humanity. There's the same propaganda that in the 20s that they used the media to say that the released slaves couldn't be left to tend to their own devices, and they were just out to do all sorts of abnormal behavior and rape white women. It was just painfully obvious to me what that story was about. Then you have this movie I watched like 2 nights ago. I totally forgot about it. It's called Living Large, and it stars Kyle from Living Single. I think his name is T.C. Carson, I believe. Something like that. But the guy who played Kyle on Living Single, and it's about this guy who wanted to break into the news industry and what he had to go through to get it. You know, they started editing his newscast, thinning his nose and his lips, and it's just a deep movie. Of course, they advertised it as a comedy, but it wasn't a comedy. Check out that movie. It's called Living Large. It came out in 1991. And then, if you really want to see, this movie by John Singleton was the epitome of what goes on in the country as a whole. Higher learning. And Ice Cube was the shit in this movie. It shows everything on how people interact. It showed in the beginning how this white woman was in the elevator with Omar Epps, and when she looked at him, she kind of put her hands on her purse, and he was looking like, but the real threat ended up being a white boy who got her drunk one night and raped her. That's just one part of that story. Check that movie out. That movie is a great movie. If you want to actually see a masculine man whose voice shows how he uses his throat chakra to get his points across by his deep baritone voice, and who speaks very poetically, but he was a savior, so to speak, a hero to the residents of D.C. when they couldn't go to cops. It's called A Man Called Hawk, and I know I've spoken about this before, but they took it off after one season, of course. But if you look at the very beginning of how this comes on, it shows a hawk flying through the sky. What is the symbol of Horus or Heru? It's a hawk. And D.C., Washington, D.C., is nothing but a version of Egypt. It's totally patterned after Egypt. If you can find it, good for you. Excellent. Excellent series. He wasn't a thug. He dressed his ass off and he served the people. Okay. Like I said, we still worrying about people accepting us. Why are y'all begging about the Academy Awards? We can make our own ghetto awards or something. That's a poor example, but I mean, my point is we can make our own and stop begging to be into their little clique, because that's exactly what it is. Then, I was in the military. I know what biological warfare is. And I'm seeing that, alright, I saw so many melanated people changing their profile pictures to a Paris, France flag. Their history has been shown to be nothing but racist towards us. But yet still, y'all pray for Paris? What about pray for Flint and the biological warfare they're going under? It is mostly black in Flint, Michigan, but they're poisoning the water. Are you kidding me? Where are the profile pictures for Flint, Michigan? We have a sales psychological damage here, and we got mental illness out the ass. It's spiritual. We want to be accepted by these people so badly. We just really do not know who we are. Now, the current coon of the week is Stacey Dash. She has a point, though. I agree with what she said. We don't need BET, and we don't need Black History Month. But hear me out. Don't go like, oh, he supported. No, that's not what I'm saying. First of all, BET is not black owned. And if you ever watch BET, if you see all the bullshit that goes on that channel, then you'll see what I'm saying. No, we don't need that BET shit. All they do is show us in negative lights. It's not black owned, so who controls what you see on there? Exactly. Now, Stacey may not, I'm sure she didn't know what she was talking about. She just says it for being a Republican, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard a black person say. But she also said something about Black History Month. She's right. Our history is so rich and so expansive, you can't fit it into the shortest month of the year. You can't. Because this is why they have looted the pyramids. They have burned down the Library of Alexandria. They have blown the noses off the Sphinx. All the Sphinx that they find, they blow their noses off. Why do they do this? Why in the British museums do they have your ancestors? They don't have their ancestors. Are we starting to think yet? Please tell me starting to think. Then you got people like RZA and Common that are apologists for them. We need to give them... Why do they need a healing? We need a healing, not them. They have everything. They control everything. What the hell do they need? If the privilege is for real, I don't give a damn how much y'all deny it. It's real. You go to any corporations, you'll see that upper management, all Caucasians. They have set up this system so that it benefits them. Why do they need a healing? Why do cops need to see black men dressed a certain way? It doesn't matter how you dress. They're going to target you anyway. So, I mean, I lost so much respect for Common. I lost so much respect for RZA. I have no respect for Oprah. I have no respect for Michael Jordan. They're billionaires, but they don't speak out about our issues and things that affect us as a whole. So fuck them. And did you see these? Like I said, we have such a spiritual, mental illness. We don't like the way we look. If you look at Lil' Kim and the monstrosity that she has become, she was a beautiful woman before she went through all that plastic surgery. And did you ever see Sammy Sosa? I mean, not only did he lighten his skin, he changed the color of his eyes. He looks like a monster. You see what I'm saying? We don't like ourselves. The damage is done that deeply. Melanin is in everything. It is chaos. It is energy. You have concentrated forms of carbon, which is melanin. Charcoal, concentrated form of melanin. Coffee, pure carbon. Carbon is melanin. They're one and the same. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 equals carbon equals melanin. Melanin cannot be created in a lab. You can't duplicate it. It just is. It's the God particle. So tell me, how are they how they haven't just started. How are they selling melanin? How? Where are they getting it from? If it can't be created in a lab and everything else can, how are they selling it? Where are they getting melanin from? Come on, think, motherfuckers, think. Where are they getting that shit from? How many millions of black Americans go missing every single year? Missing. Have I got your attention yet? Once you start to wake up and once you start to use your spiritual sciences, these are the things that you start to see. They become just apparent. And like I said, you can't unsee them once you start to see them. The Bible is one of the most magical books there is. But if you're going to the preacher to learn what passages are needed to live your life, you can do your own research. What about the lost books of the Bible? You ever think about that? How they get lost? What is the Nag Hammadi library? These are Gnostic scriptures that were taken out of the Bible. The Gnostics, that's where Christianity comes from. You have esoteric knowledge, you have exoteric knowledge. EXOTERIC. Exoteric. And esoteric it means outward. It's for everybody. Everybody needs to learn. Esoteric is the secret knowledge. Get it? Esoteric is where the Gnosticism comes from. Christianity is what they gave you. They tried to destroy the Nag Hammadi library. But it was passed down. Luckily, parts of it, they wasn't able to accomplish that, and a lot of it was passed orally. So when you got these preachers up here trying to tell you what passages, no, go to the source, go to the Gnostic text. They'll tell you everything you need to know. And for and just tithes, TITHES, that y'all pay every Sunday, for what? If you got a God, your God, who's all-knowing, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, he needs all this, and he created all this. The hell he need with some paper money for? You got all this money that's going to these pastors who driving these Lincolns, these fancy cars, living in these fancy houses, and you being broke and poor. And you don't see the madness of that itself. If we, y'all, and then you say, oh, my God is able. But do you see the people who starve, whose ribs are showing from not having a decent meal, or who don't have plain water? Where is he doing that shit? If he's so able. And if he's good all the time, why, if you have a God that's good all the time, why does he let all these atrocities happen? Why does he let one race brutalize and do some of the most despicable acts ever in recorded history? Why does he allow that to happen? Is that for your own good? Think about that. We are sick and insane people. And if we don't wake up soon, we're going to pray ourselves right out of existence, which is what they want you to do. Once again, I have everything, all your needs, your occult needs, in my store, www.themagicaletsupplyshop.com. Come to me for consultations, and for all your spiritual needs, for ritual work. And fuck. That's the first time that happened. For all your ritual needs, all your consultations, I got you covered. www.themagicaletsupplyshop.com. This has been Magick La Croix. Hopefully this has gotten through to some of you, and I hope that I see you soon. Until then, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters, and I'll see you next time. Peace.